SNES Man is the champion, he is 16-bit. SNES Man is the champion, he is 16-bit.
Have you ever heard of the Lost Vikings? It's a heroic adventure with puzzle-based platforming and switching between our 3 Viking heroes to solve puzzles and find their way back home. Now we reach the title screen and you're introduced to our 3 main heroes. Eric, the Swift, Balog, the Fierce, and Olaf, the Stout. Alright, title screen, password options, new game. Let's get down to gaming. We begin in a peaceful Viking town where each character introduces themselves. Eric the Swift runs fast and is the only character who can jump. Olaf the Stout is an amusing fatso who can block anything with his shield. His shield even blocks the spitting escargot. And last, Balog the Fierce, a very powerful swordsman and bowman. Balog, don't use the bow, just drop salt on the snail. The first level is just a training mission to show you little strategies throughout the rest of the game. For instance, right here, you use the shield to block while Balog comes in for the kill. After the intro, the story begins. While the Vikings sleep in their homes, aliens come and kidnap them. That's not dumb. Insert sci-fi theremin music here. Level 1, our journey begins. First, you must escape from the spaceship using teamwork of all the Vikings. The controls will take a little getting used to at first, because you must alternate between the Vikings. Watch as I press L here, and switch to Olaf the Stout. Each character relies on the other, so you have to switch constantly to use their abilities to the best. Here's the first flaw in the game. As soon as one character gets killed, the others can't beat the level. Why would it even let you go on if you can't beat the level without the other one? So now you're forced to commit suicide every level after you lose one Viking. Sorry Eric, can't beat the level with just one Viking. Don't try dodging those lasers either. They'll burn you to a crisp.
Toasty.
Here's the continue screen where the boat burns in the distance. Each Viking is resurrected by the lightning from Valhalla. In case you didn't know, Valhalla is like Viking heaven. Okay, end of weird joke. Once you play for a while, Lost Vikings actually turns out to be quite a good game. It's a fun platformer that makes you think occasionally. And though thinking is not the kind of thing you want in an industry like games that are meant to rot your brains, it's still fun. Another thing that makes it so different is its sense of humor. The Vikings can say some funny stuff. If I have to bash one more wall right now, my head will explode. I got dibs on his helmet. Okay, but I get his boots. It's great to have such good friends. And who could forget? That was intense. Yeah, what a ride. I think I'm gonna be sick. The level design is creative but sometimes frustrating. On this bubble level, you must go over a pit of acid on bubbles. I'd like to see you try to get this fatso over those bubbles. Too many levels have death as a result of your failure. For instance, if you make a little mistake, you could lose one Viking and lose it all. Oh, suicide Viking, that's how you restart the level. On an unrelated note, let's peruse controls. Here's how the controls work in Lost Vikings. Here's your Y button, that attacks or uses dash, quite responsive. Jump is also quite responsive, good platforming controls. Your shoulder buttons, L and R, switch between the characters. This is where things get complicated. You must switch to each character to use them. It sounds easy, but sometimes it can be a little tough to switch in the heat of battle. Also, using items can be cumbersome. You have to use select to go to your menu and switch them around and trade between characters, pressing buttons. Ugh. Also, I enjoy how all the different characters have different abilities, but really, is it fair to only have one of them jump in a very platform-based game? Alright, what's the sound like in this game? Well, the sound and music is nothing incredible, but it passes. I like the cheesy beats and the 90s-ness of it, but otherwise it's pretty novelty-based. No, I wasn't listening to other music. Psst, I got bored. So will you.
Things to make it better.
Less instant death and cheap ideas throughout the level. Work on the item interface and the character abilities. The characters should have more powers to use so it doesn't get as monotonous. Quicker movement speed to get through the endless levels. Most importantly, let you beat the level without all 3 Vikings. If you lose one, it shouldn't be a big deal. Also, up the Viking health meter so you can last longer. Don't hear me wrong though, I enjoy this game and it's very creative, which is rare. The alternating Viking aspect is very fun and can be used well in this game. Also, they included a nice password that's only 4 letters. Now that's an improvement from games with no password. Our heroes provide a memorable and entertaining adventure. But now for Viking Judgment. Now I grade this game from 1 to 10. 1 being awful, 5 being average, 10 being unbelievable. What will this game get? Lost Vikings for the Super Nintendo receives a 7 out of 10. A pretty good game. You may wonder why I didn't rate this higher. I did praise the level design, the comedy, and the creativeness, but still there are too many flaws to give it higher than just a quite good game. For people who love puzzle-based games and hybrids of puzzles and action, you'll love this, and you can definitely ensure a better score. And now for SNES Recommends. SNES? SNES? I know it's SNES, but it's my character trademark, okay, you miserable loafers? Alright. SNES Recommends. If you couldn't get enough of the first game, there's a sequel, Lost Vikings 2. I haven't played it, but reviews have said it's not as good, but still may be worth a try. Another good one is ActRaiser. It's not like this in a puzzle adventure kind of game, it's just part Sims, part action. And some people will love that if they love the thinking-based gameplay of Lost Vikings. If you want to tone down the puzzles a little bit and rely more on action-adventure, then of course DK Country 3 and Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island are great choices for you. Both are phenomenal games and near the top of the SNES library. So now we've seen our heroes and fought to the end, and that's Lost Vikings for the Super Nintendo. Hope you enjoyed this review. The Vikings leave a lasting impression on us. In fact, Balog even gave me a replica of his sword. Isn't that nice? And guess what? I have a secret I've been saving for you guys. You know those lizard things that go ah on the first few levels, and even later on? Well, I captured one. Here it is. Don't you see it? Looks just like them, except with robotic legs. Take off its head. Oh, dodge around, dodge around, dodge around. SNES dodge, SNES dodge. Take his head off. Yes!